Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and today I got 6 rumors that I'm ready to crack open for you, but that I promise you, only rumors today, no beer on today's show. Make sure you guys subscribe, youtube.com/Raiders Report. The first rumor, no, actually I'm a liar, it's actually not even a rumor. The Raiders signed Erik Swoope. This one's for Chucky heads. Believe it, baby. It went down yesterday, and I am intrigued by this move simply because we know that the Raiders need help at tight end. But Erik Swoope is like the ultimate hype player, especially if you were ever into fantasy football in 2017. He's 6'4", 255 pounds, an undrafted free agent following the 2014 NFL Draft. He spent time with the Colts and last year with the Saints in 2018. The reason why there's a lot of hype around Erik Swoope, it's because anytime you insert tight end and played college basketball, and the fact that he played at the U, people were like, oh, he's going to be Jimmy Graham. Erik Swoope's a talented player, but he's more of an athlete, not much of a football player. I think this one is more just for depth. So, luckily for you guys, I broke down what he did over the last 4 years, and hopefully in 2019 he has a better year than what he did in 2015 and 2017. But if the trends continue, I'm hoping he has more catches than what he did in 2017 and 2015 because they were not too solid of years. But he's at least a big body. He's at least a player that maybe the Raiders could target in the red zone. I mean, you look at Jared Cook last year. He had 6 receiving touchdowns. The next guy on the list had 3 touchdowns, Lee Smith. And, oh, yeah, guess what? He's gone. So here's the Raiders depth chart now with Erik Swoope. You still have Darren Waller there, Foster Moreau, Derek Carrier, who I actually anticipate them to cut Carrier. And if you watch my show that I did earlier in the week about potential cuts, well, you're going to save 1.7 if you get rid of Carrier. Luke Wilson also on the roster, and then Erik Swoope. So the Raiders, they went out and signed Swoope in this show. It's not about me, it's about y'all. So one word to describe the signing of Erik Swoope. Now, don't cheat. We don't need a bunch of cheaters in the audience. So here, one word to describe Erik Swoope, okay? You got it? YouTube? Facebook? Cool. Next rumor. Let's get it going. Waller, Raiders' secret weapon. You guys are in luck, because if you guys like a good tight end like me, you're gonna be loving the show today. So Waller, Raiders' secret weapon. This one's 2 Chucky heads, and people are talking. The people that are talking is Jon Gruden. Now, this is an interesting story because Waller, he's a 6'6" tight end. He came into the league as a wide receiver. He was a 6th-round pick by the Ravens out of Georgia Tech. Now, he's not a household name, but I think the Raiders are kind of hoping that he's going to be a household name by the end of the year. He's been suspended twice. Jon Gruden came out and said that he's one of the best kept secrets right now in the NFL. Wow. And here's the exact quote. Since the time he's walked in here, he's been one of the most impressive guys on our team. He learns fast. He is fast. He's extremely talented. I think he's going to be one of the best kept secrets in the league. I really believe he's got a future if he keeps working like this. Also, pat on the back because I finally read something 100% right. Good job, Mitch. Now, the fact that he's going to be potentially the starter for the Raiders, we know the success that Jared Cook has had over the last 2 years. We know that Derek Carr is like the tight end. And maybe this is one of the reasons why the Raiders didn't go out and really try to draft high a tight end, because we were talking about Noah Fant. We were talking about TJ Hawkinson. Maybe Jon Gruden sees a high potential in Darren Waller and are like, hey man, maybe we're going to feed this guy some targets. Now, here's the interesting question I'm going to ask you guys, okay? Darren Waller or Foster Moreau, who's going to have more touchdowns in 2019? They drafted Moreau, and I know a bunch of you guys are really excited. Heck, I posted a poll on our Raiders channel, who's going to have more receiving yards this year? And it's actually like kind of split between Waller and Moreau, but I want to know touchdowns, okay? More touchdowns in 2019. Waller, Moreau, if you want to be an overachiever, comment below the exact number for Waller and for Moreau. You guys know that I like to have fun, and I want to have a little bit of fun here. So the objective of this game that we're going to play is I want you to DM me a secret on IG or on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. And what I'm going to do, I always put you guys on screen. We're interacting. DM me a secret, and I'm going to share my favorite secrets, but I'm going to post them as anonymous. So, hey, you want to be dirty? Go for it. 4 Chucky heads, believe it, baby. Next rumor, Kyle Rudolph. Are the Oakland Raiders going to be trading for him? We're talking a lot about tight ends in this show. I promised you. Are they going to trade for him, though? This one's 0 Chucky heads. Tuck rule. Tuck that. Finally, I'm making a decision on whether or not I think the Raiders are going to trade for Kyle Rudolph. There's reports right now that the Vikings could potentially trade him, and he's set to make $7.625 million in the last year of his deal. Now, here's the thing, okay? He doesn't want to take a pay cut. And when I looked to see with Kyle Rudolph, and I also saw what the Raiders didn't want in Jared Cook, the Raiders weren't willing to offer Jared Cook $7 million. Now, I don't really think they're going to go out and offer Kyle Rudolph $7 million. Now, I think Kyle Rudolph's a good tight end. He's a better blocker than Jared Cook, but I think for what the Raiders need and want, Jared Cook is a better option than what Kyle Rudolph was. And sure, you can look at what Kyle Rudolph has done the last 4 years. 2016 is by far a standout year. But I don't really know if I want to pay a tight end who only had 4 touchdowns, 634 yards, $7.625 million. I get it. He thinks that he's a talented player still, and he says he's still too young to take a pay cut. All good. I will say this, though, okay? I will say this. They just signed Swoope, okay? You go out and drafted Foster Moreau. You have high hopes in Darren Waller. If I'm wrong, and if the Raiders go out and trade for Kyle Rudolph, 82 beers, 5 minutes, 4 Chucky heads. Believe it, baby. But I'll show you guys one more time this Raiders tight end depth chart. Waller, Moreau, Carrier. Where is he going to fit? Sure, he would probably be the starter. But in terms of money, and when you don't go out and re-sign Jared Cook, I'm ultimately not convinced that the Raiders are going to go out and trade for Kyle Rudolph. Raider Nation, subscribe to our main Chat Sports channel on YouTube. It's the link below, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We do a lot of content here on our main Raiders channel, we do. But I'm asking you, Raider Nation, to subscribe to youtube.com/chatsportstv because I have a question. What should we do for 100,000 subscribers? So here on the Raiders Report, we're at like 16,500. On our main Chat Sports channel, we are so close to 100,000 subscribers, and I want to know what we should do. So I want you guys to comment below, and the best answers that we get, we'll put on the show, we'll vote, because we are so close to 100,000 subscribers. If you're not already a subscriber, make sure you guys are at youtube.com/chatsportstv. More rumors, because that's what the show is about. Kolton Miller having a breakout season in 2019. This rumor is from Jon Gruden. I'm going to give this one only 2 Chucky heads, though. People are talking, and here's the other thing. You might be seeing a breakout segment later on in the week, so stay tuned for that. The Raiders, they have high hopes for their 2018 first-round pick, who is Kolton Miller. Now, he's a tall dude, right? Jon Gruden said that we think Kolton Miller is going to be one of the best left tackles in football. It's interesting to consider because of how bad he was last year. Sure, he battled a whole bunch of injuries. But he was also a right tackle just 3 weeks ago, and you went out and got Trent Brown. Now, why am I so confident in Miller? The dude's got a lot of swagger. And when I listen to his interviews, when I listen to him this offseason, it's a much different tone of voice for Kolton Miller. Last year, though, in his interviews, he was kind of timid. Like, he sounded really scared. And it reminded me a lot of maybe, it's a good way to put it, when there's like somebody at a bar who can't talk to a girl, like our new NBA guy, Jimmy Crowder, is a great example of this. So you kind of feel bad for him when you listen to him talk. You know, you just kind of want to like rub Jimmy's back sometimes. You'd be like, it's all right, Jimmy. Some people were just made to play right field in Little League. It's all good. Now, I'm talking about Darren Waller because I think he's going to be a breakout player. And I'm also talking about Kolton Miller. So name a breakout player for the Raiders in 2019. I want you to comment below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, name a breakout player for the Raiders in 2019. Next rumor. Arden Key. Got the key? Are the Raiders frustrated with him? I think this one's 3 Chucky heads, and I think it's pretty likely. So currently, Arden Key is 238 pounds. And if there's one thing that I've learned here on the Raiders Report, y'all are obsessed with weight. If you care how much I weigh, 170. Key is 238 pounds. Jon Gruden this week said that he wants Key around 260 to 270 pounds. Defensive coordinator Paul Guenther was asked about Arden Key. All he said was that he needs to get stronger. The fact that Jon Gruden saying that he needs to put on weight, the fact that Paul Guenther's coming out and says that he needs to get stronger, plus I've dug up a quote back in 2017 from Ed Orgeron, who said that he thinks Arden Key's best at 255 to 260 pounds. Arden Key, no doubt, is a super talented player. Probably a first-round talent. The reason why he fell to the 3rd round is because people didn't know if he had the will, and he also had some off-the-field issues. Now, if he can maybe get up to that weight, you could really see him improve. He had 11 quarterback hits. And when I talked about some bold predictions, I said Arden Key could have 10 sacks. I think if this guy puts it together and actually uses his talent and actually puts everything together, super talented, but it's always been a question, does he have the will? Arden, I'm looking at you. Put it together here in 2019. I think you have a breakout year. How many sacks for Arden Key in 2019? The dude only had 1 last year. So I want to know from the entire nation, how many sacks for Arden Key in 2019? 1, 2, 3. If you want to know what I think, hit me up on IG or Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. Make sure you guys just subscribe to the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube, youtube.com/Raiders Report. This one's for Chucky heads. Believe it, baby. One of my favorite things that we can do here at the Raiders Report is interact. Heck, I've gotten beer with subscribers. I've hung out with subscribers. We're doing all sorts of stuff. I'm going to be partying with people on June 1st. One of my favorite things that we can do here at the Raiders Report and at Chat Sports is the constant interaction. And I love when you guys interact with me on Instagram also. So I want to give a special shout out to all 5 of these people who have been sliding in my DMs and who have been hitting me up on IG. If you see your name on here, take a screenshot, tag me in it on Instagram, and I'll share it as well. Also, I want to give some shout outs to Raider Nation on Twitter. And Mr. Fox, I actually copied your picture, and this is what came up. So get a picture on Twitter. But no, seriously, guys, if you see your name here, screenshot it, tweet it at me, at MitchellRenz365, and I'll continue to share it. Why? Because Raider Nation is global. It blows my mind when I have people say, hey, Mitch, I'm watching from this state, I'm watching from this country. So I want to know from everybody watching right now, what's your hometown? My hometown, Danville, oh my lord. Danville, Pennsylvania. I don't even know my own hometown. Danville, Pennsylvania, repping the 570. It's about like 5,000 people there. There's literally nobody. We're known as the Ironmen, orange and purple. What's your hometown? I want you to comment below. If you want to tell me what your school colors were, go for it. Be an overachiever. Last rumor on today's Raiders Report, are the Raiders targeting Morris Claiborne? I'm going to give this one only 1 Chucky head, and I think there's a small shred of truth. Now, I saw an article from some redhead at Fanside, I don't know, he wrote an article about top 5 free agents that the Raiders could potentially target, and he had Morris Claiborne listed as the #1 option for the Raiders. Now, I think Morris Claiborne is a talented player, and I think he could be a solid 2 cornerback opposite of Conley. Injuries have always kind of plagued Claiborne, and I say that, and yet the dude's played in 30 games over the last 32 regular season games. But with the Cowboys, he wasn't all that great. But 57 tackles, 43 tackles the last 2 years for the Jets. So, Mitch, why wouldn't the Raiders ultimately go out and get Morris Claiborne? I think it's because they're actually okay at depth chart. Now, Gruden has also come out and said a few times that they want extra depth, but I have confidence in Worley, and I have confidence in LaMarcus Joyner. I also think LaMarcus Joyner is going to be bouncing around in the nickel cornerback position. I think Carl Joseph, Jonathan Abram, you're going to see those players ultimately at strong safety and at free safety. Do I think Claiborne's a talented player? Yes. Do I think he's their #1 free agent target right now? That's where I'm not going to quite agree with it. Talented player, okay, but which free agent should the Raiders ultimately sign? I mean, there's still some other big names out there. I talked about Gerald McCoy. We're talking about Claiborne. For some reason, you guys still want Michael Crabtree, which it blows my mind, recency, how 2 years ago you guys probably would have kicked him out of the entire state, and now you guys want Michael Crabtree back. So which free agent should the Raiders sign? I want you to comment below if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, literally anywhere that you see this video. Now, for the people who have made it this far, you're all my loyal watchers. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a screenshot. Ready? Cool. Take that screenshot and then tweet it at me on IG and on Twitter. And if you share it on your IG story or if you tweet that at me, I will retweet it. Okay? So if you're a loyal watcher, I appreciate it. Make sure you guys subscribe to the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube at youtube.com/Raiders Report. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors, and look at this. I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.